with that down, let's move on to this, shall we? You know, Star Wars is a hot mess right now, even though they're coming off of maybe the greatest thing Star Wars has ever done, at least since the original trilogy in Andor Season 2. I mean, it's just absolute peak magnificence of Star Wars. It's fantastic. But we are now in 2025. It has been 6 years since we've had a Star Wars movie in theaters. 6 years. And it's going to go on to 7. And the next movie we are getting is a freaking episode of a TV show. It's Mandalorian. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Don't get me wrong. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I am. And then one of the other movies they keep talking about is a Rey movie, which listen, I love Daisy Ridley. I even fundamentally like the character of Rey. But I mean, the Star Wars sequels, I mean, they're an incredible flashpoint. They're the fissure of division between the Star Wars fandom. I mean, just doing anything, I've always thought, to go back and revisit those things, I thought is incredibly short-sighted and a real big mistake. And yet they keep plowing and pushing through on them. Well, one of the things that we do know for sure about Lucasfilm is that anytime they announce a movie, there's a really good chance it's not going to happen. And that might be the situation right now, as there are reports going around that Star Wars Rey movie has been shelved again. Not necessarily canceled, but shelved again. The folks over at The Direct write the following. The latest Star Wars story to hit the pause button is Shreem, I always mispronounce it, Obaid-Chinoy's Star Wars film, which will include the much anticipated return of Daisy Ridley's Rey. Who the hell is saying it's much anticipated? Who anywhere is saying that Daisy Ridley's return, and I love her, but that this character returning is much anticipated? Anyway, the movie was first announced at Star Wars Celebration in 2023, so it's been 2 years and we're still not anywhere, and has since stopped and started throughout the development process. The latest update on the Rey movie comes from entertainment insider Daniel Richman, who reported on his Patreon that Rey movie is quote-unquote on hold again. Richman reiterated that on hold is not canceled, but is temporarily on hold. According to Richman, this is so Lucasfilm can prioritize Sean Levy's Starfighter movie, which I am extremely excited about and don't believe for a minute will actually happen. Starfighter movie, as well as James Mangold's Star Wars, a still untitled movie, which I am also very excited about because it's James Mangold, but I also don't believe for a second it'll actually happen. So here we are, Kel Supri, a movie that they announced 2 years ago, which from everything we understand still doesn't have a finished script. Certainly doesn't have, I mean, they said they did at one point, and then they didn't. Then they said they had a start production date, then they didn't. Then they had at least a phantom release date, and then that got quickly kind of hushed away. And now here we are 2 years later, and we are honestly no closer to getting this Rey movie. And honestly, I don't think we will get it. Like, Kathleen Kennedy is going to be moving on to doing more producing and leaving her head of Lucasfilm position. And I wonder if they've just realized we've got to leave this for the next CEO of Lucasfilm to decide, the next president of Lucasfilm to decide on. And I don't think anybody with 2 pennies of common sense, Rob, is going to think, you know what is going to really bring the Star Wars fans back? You know what's really going to unify the Star Wars fandom? A Rey Skywalker movie. That's the missing, spice that we need. So I just don't think it's going to happen at all. So they're saying right now it's paused again. It's on the shelf, but not canceled. Like the Sean Levy movie, like the James Mangold movie, I don't believe this is one that's actually going to happen. We want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Stitch Fix. Guys, you know I love movies, but you also know I have absolutely no fashion sense, and I absolutely hate shopping for my clothes. But thankfully, I have found a better way. Stitch Fix online personal styling makes it easy. With Stitch Fix, I get a stylist who understands my style, size, and budget, and they do all the shopping for me. Because look, shopping and figuring out style can be overwhelming, especially for somebody like me. When it comes to getting dressed, I don't even know where to start, to be honest. That's why I love having a Stitch Fix stylist. They really know what works for me. I get pieces that make me look great, and it's a real confidence boost. You just give your stylist your size, style, and budget preferences. You get to order boxes when you want and how you want, no subscription required. They send you personalized pieces, and the fit is always on point. No stores, no crowds, no stress. Just personalized looks that you will love. So guys, make style easy. Get started today at stitchfix.com/Campea. That's stitchfix.com/Campea. So not surprised to hear this, Rob. Yet another thing of them announcing something and, oh, look, here we are years later, it's not happening. Anyway, you hear about this, Rob. What's your takeaway from it?
You know, look, would I love to see a great Star Wars movie again? Yes. But the problem is, we can all agree, whether you love the sequel trilogy or not, it did not live up to the potential that it had. And I don't think anyone is clamoring for any of those characters to necessarily come back in another story. And I think that, look, I like Daisy Ridley. I think she's a very talented actress. I think if she was given a story that was more cohesive, she could absolutely have led an ongoing Star Wars concern.
At her core, it's a decent character with a fine actress playing it. If you write a story around her, look, I'm not doubting that it potentially could be a very good project. I just don't know people would be excited about it right now because of the way they've mishandled it.
I mean, she's Palpatine's granddaughter somehow, and then she took the name Skywalker just because. And look, I just don't believe her as a character, what they want me to do, setting up a new Jedi order. She doesn't have the lineage for it. I mean, even though she's Palpatine's granddaughter, in terms of what happened with her, and I just don't think she's that compelling of a character. And that's not to say she couldn't be written that way, but I think what Star Wars needs to do is put the Skywalker saga away. And look, Andor was successful because it delved into the universe of Star Wars, and it had a story of rebellion. It's going to be really interesting to see if you follow that up with Starfighter. What does it mean? Like, if you're a pilot in the Star Wars universe and you decided to fight for the rebels, you don't have the Force. You know, you're more military. How did that work? I mean, I'm really curious to see. They're going to delve into, again, another area that we've seen pilots throughout the Star Wars movies. It would be interesting to see more. We haven't heard about what is the life of a pilot. Like, what did Gold Leader do when he was a kid? I don't know. But, but I think that finding out about those characters in that milieu is going to be exactly what Star Wars needs. So, like you, I'm excited for Sean Levy directing. It's going to be fun. Ryan Gosling's going to bring that Han Solo spirit to it all. And I think that's the way we need to go. And I think if they're going to come up with, look, do I want to see a three movie Knights of the Old Republic film? Yes. If you're going to show me the dawn or the birth of the Sith, wasn't James Mangold going to do that? Like, go back, thousands of years.
That's what they teased at least a little bit for a while there.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot of potential for a Star Wars movie on the big screen. But again, Disney needs to do what they did with Andor and hire visionary showrunners who have an idea. And it sounded like when we saw Sean Levy come out on stage at Star Wars Celebration, he said, look, we're deep into pre-production. We're ready to shoot. We know what we're doing.
Right.
And that's kind of, I think hearing James Gunn talk about scripts, and we're not going to move forward until we have a script. Sean Levy's coming off of a $1.5 billion movie with Disney. He's got Stranger Things 5 that he's a producer on coming out. I mean, the man is riding high, and the last thing he wants to do is make a bad Star Wars movie. So I think we'll get something that's pretty good.
But here's the problem, Rob. Here's the problem. Like you so accurately say that, look what happens when you look at Andor, this is what happens when you get a true artist on board to run with their vision.
Yeah.
That's great. So I think Sean Levy is an inspired choice. James Mangold is clearly an inspired choice. I just don't believe we're going to get those movies. I just like, I mean, that's great. It's great to say we're doing that. Hey, remember Kevin Feige was going to do a Star Wars
But do you
movie.
think we're not going to get Starfighter?
I won't believe it until I am holding a popcorn bucket in my lap. And
I can see it. They just had said, it's Celebration that they were ready to go. Like they've been deep into pre-production.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. That's great that they're all ready. We're all ready for 6 years. We've all been ready to go. Do I believe Sean Levy is ready to go? Yes. Do I believe James Mangold can very quickly be ready to go? Absolutely. They're not the problem. Just like I don't think Kevin Feige was the problem. Just like I don't think that any of the long laundry list of the filmmakers that have come and gone over the years are the problem. Yeah, I'm sure he is ready to go. But are they going to give him the car to drive? And I just, again, until I am holding that popcorn bucket in my lap, I am not going to believe it until it happens.
You know what? You absolutely are correct to think that way. I mean, we know we're getting the Mandalorian and Grogu, which, to be honest, I could care less about. But yeah, I'll go see it.
It feels so weird to like Mandalorian as much as I do. For like, let's overlook season 3.
Yeah, that's the problem.
But I like Mandalorian so much, but it's just so hard for me to get excited about an extent. This is just a short season of. This is just basically season 3.5.
Yeah.
It's just an extension of a TV show they have on Disney Plus. And that's not to say it can't be great. It can be. And maybe I'll come out of it going, oh, that was awesome. I hope I am. But it's just really hard for me to get excited about that. Like that's our first movie in 6 or 7 years is an extended episode of a television show. That's what we're getting on the big screen first.
And my whole thing about all of the Star Wars shows, other than Andor, is they don't have a feature film sensibility. The Mandalorian was done as a TV show. It was fine, but it was kind of halfway between a Saturday morning live action show and an HBO show. It had some really cool production values and it would do some cool things. But the stories were very, in a way, lightweight. They were fun. The best of them were fun. Like I love the Bill Burr episode where it had some kind of gravitas.
That was a great episode.
I think that was the best episode of the show. Like when he's there and having that conversation about what happened to those people during that, and then they killed the guy, and that was like, okay, now you're into some weighty territory that means something. But I mean, the movie's called The Mandalorian and Grogu, and I'm just like,
You know why they called it The Mandalorian and Grogu? I'm not trying to be funny. Honestly, I think Lucasfilm hates it that everybody just calls him Baby Yoda.
I think so too.
And I think I honestly, dead serious, think one of the reasons they're not just calling it Mandalorian the motion picture and they're calling it Mandalorian and Grogu is because they want to try to really get people to stop. But I won't stop. I can't stop. Never stop, never stopping. That's Baby Yoda. I know it's not actually Yoda, but I'm still going to call him Baby Yoda. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? The Rey movie has once again, just like every other Star Wars project, has been hit paused. I really don't mind that because I don't think this is the movie they should be making anyway. But how do you feel about it? Do you think Sean Levy's Starfighter, which I am very excited about, but do you think it's actually going to happen? How about the James Mangold one? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.